Now we are going to see how to use InnoMix Surya. We all use the mixes every day in the kitchen, but sometimes small tips help us to save time and frustration. The InnoMix Surya comes with a storage compartment for the wire card. So you open the storage compartment, you can take the wire out and you can close it back, and then before you turn it on, make sure the switch is all in off position. You should not switch on and then connect the wire. First connect the wire, then switch it on. Now, Surya has a safety switch here, so unless you put the jar and lock it in place, it will not switch on. So what we need to do is, I am going to grind some ginger garlic today. So take the small jar, put the garlic in and put the ginger. And the important thing, the pieces should not be more than ½ an inch. So that's important in any mixing. So it has to be small pieces so that the blade doesn't get stuck. And before you put it on, since it has a safety switch, we have to close the lid and then put it on the mixie and just turn it a little bit till you hear the clicking sound. Now always put your hand on the lid when you are operating. The reason is, so even though the instruction says fill only the half the jar, we just were over enthusiastic or we want to do one step, we overfill it, and when we switch it on, the contents can explode the lid. The lid will come off and it will be a big mess. You will be spending more time cleaning up. So it's better to use in 2 batches if you have more, but make sure it should not be more than half the jar. So you close the lid. Now you switch it on whatever the speed you want. I am going to test with the speed button 1. So you check the contents and then you mix it back in and then don't forget to close the lid and then keep it on the jar, and you can even do the pump. And it grinds to a nice paste. Another thing is, the jar comes with the breakers, we call it, and when you are grinding it, it puts back into the jar, so it grinds better. So let's check how it is ground. So it has made a nice paste. So if you want finer paste, you can do it a little bit more, but 10-20 seconds it makes a nice paste. The other thing we need to do with the mixie is, whenever you are checking, you have to take it out of the mixie, put it on the floor and then check it, and then if you need to grind more, then use a spatula, mix it back in and then close the lid and again put it on the top. So then once you are done, just take the jar off and unplug the wire. Always unplug the wire when you are not using it, and then you can fold it nicely and then open the compartment at the back and then store it in, so it stores compactly. Another advantage is the space is nicely done, so when you are storing, you store it, everything goes in a small space. So even if you have a small apartment, you don't have to worry about storing too many jars, finding too much space. Here everything goes on the unit. It's very sleek, very compact. So make sure you store it nicely, and when you are opening and washing, make sure always you remove the gasket from the jar lid, wash it separately, and then when you are storing, you try to store it on the top of that. Do not leave the gasket on the lid all the time. This will extend the life of the gasket. And when you are putting the gasket, you can see one side is wider and one side is thinner. So always make sure the thinner side goes to the edge of this lid. So the wider side is closer to this tip. So that way when you put it, it locks better.